I'm preparing for another cook, as always, and it reminded me of a top tip which I have shared before, but I'm going to share it again, which is to, if you want to get really good colour on your red meat, is to keep it uncovered in the fridge for at least a couple of hours. This has been uncovered since this morning. This is beef mince. It's got a lovely crust on it. Drying it out means you're going to get more caramelization in the pan. It absolutely applies to storing steaks as well. Okay. Next tip for cooking steak is, if possible, I always use a cast iron pan. This one is from Netherton Foundry. I've had it for a while. I absolutely love it. It's incredible for heat transfer. The other thing is, this is a pre-salted steak that is now at room temperature. I don't oil the pan, I oil the steak. My oil, or my fat of preference, is I'm using duck fat to cook the steak. Oh, and don't use pepper, but I've said that before. If your steak has got fat on, I cook it on the fat side first. It's good to season your steak well in advance. You can season it overnight. You only season your steak with salt, not pepper. Pepper will burn when you put it in the pan. You can always add the pepper afterwards. So I'm going to season my steak. I'm going to put it back in the fridge for me, I'm going to do it for a couple of hours before I cook it. And on the subject of salt, I always use kosher salt. The shape of the crystal, is that what you would call it? The salty little grain bit is a shape that sticks really well to meat. So I do always use kosher salt when I'm sprinkling and I want it to stick on and not just roll off. A lot of the American chefs use kosher salt. I'm going to do a series of top tips over the next few days of how to handle steak. The first thing is, always store your steak in the fridge uncovered. It stops it sweating. You want it to dry out a little bit because it's going to help with the searing process. And always get it out about an hour before you want to cook it, because you should cook it at room temperature. I just thought I'd share this. It might be a bit banal, but in my food obsessed life, I think this might be useful to someone. I don't have any good butchers close to me. The best butcher that I have is the in-store one in Waitrose, and I was very happy today because they are now getting in the sort of the autumn winter cuts of meat, so your slow braises, and I was chuffed to bits to find that they have beef cheeks. I'm actually going to freeze these because I don't need them for a while, but I will be doing some recipes with beef cheeks coming up. And I've bought some braising steak, and I just want to talk to you about this. So most of the time that you buy braising steak in the supermarkets, it's chopped really small. Well, I like to cook my braising steak cut into bigger pieces. So it's worth going to your meat counter and buying your braising steak by the hefty slice. It's a tip. Buy big meat. And in fact, on my shopping list, I'd written eggs, cream, pastry, big meat. I knew what it was. I'm always nervous doing films like this because this is purely how I do it. I posted that film the other day about doing a slow cook larger piece of steak. So that slow cook version really works very well with a large cut of steak, so probably up to a kilo or just over a kilo in weight. I will be having beef rib for Christmas, and a few of you asked me about that, and I did reply in some of the comments, but I thought I will quickly run through it. My daughter, I'm cooking at my daughter's this year. She's going to do all the sides. I will be doing the beef. And so I have asked her, when she takes delivery of the beef the day before, can she unwrap it and leave it and season it all over with salt and leave it uncovered in the fridge. First thing on Christmas morning, I have asked her to take it out of the fridge for as long as possible so it can come to room temperature. I think the rib I've ordered is going to be about 3 kilos in weight. For this, you definitely need a meat probe. That is the only way you're going to know how your meat is cooked, but we're going to do this on a low temperature method. the temperature that you're looking to bring your meat out of the oven, if you want rare, I've written it down so I don't get it wrong, you're looking for 46 to 48 degrees, medium rare 50 to 52 degrees, and medium 55 to 57 degrees. When it comes out of the oven, you're going to want it to rest for 30 to 35 minutes. You can tent it. It's going to still carry on increasing a little bit of internal temperature, which is why we're bringing it out at those temperatures. Depending on the size of your, and I'm assuming we're talking here now about bone-in rib, it's going to take anything from 2.5 to 4 hours. When you're ready to serve it, it's a high heat. You can either sear it in a pan at a very high heat. If the fat hasn't rendered down enough on that slow, low cook, do it fat side first and let the fat render out, and then sear it in a very hot pan, or you can put it in a very hot oven at about 230 degrees for 10 minutes to heat through. I think that covers it for beef rib. Good luck and happy eating!